leaders, achievers, captains of industry, innovators, masterful storytellers, creatives, and entertainers, all hosted by a master of the game, His Royal Blackness,
KKD, the finest.
Catch Master of the Game on CTV. Oh yes, nuggets of inspiration and delightful treats for your enjoyment. Whether you love power, money, beauty, or fame, there is so much to learn from Master of the Game. Only in the place to be. The coolest channel, CTV. Good morning and welcome to Master of the Game on CTV, Ghana's #1. Master of the Game is the program on which we bring you the movers, shakers, icons, and legends of our beloved motherland Ghana. The name is Darkwah, Kwasi Kyei Darkwah, and I'm delighted to be united with an expert in his field of endeavor. He is definitely a master of his game. He's actually an author, and the first book he has written is what I'm holding right now that we're going to talk about on this program today. He is a brand and marketing strategist. He's a business developer, and he's actually a fabulous tourism administrator who has made it possible for streams of people, Ghanaians and non-Ghanaians alike, to travel to Ghana for different events because he held the helms at the Ghana Tourism Authority. Please welcome Mr. AKWASI AGYEMAN.
Thank you. You're the master of the game. So.
I am so happy to see you.
Good to see you.
And I'm so proud of the work you've done for Ghana Tourism Authority.
Coming from you.
Work you've done for tourism in Ghana.
Thank you.
I mean, onipa ya dia ose ayeyi.
But you're the Benyankupo.
Fantastic. And it's very important for us to look at everybody who has been given a job to do in every government. And irrespective of whoever was president, find the people who did their work not just with expertise, but with pleasure. Yeah. You did yours with pleasure and with such great composure.
Yeah, with pleasure, with delight. And above all, I had a very good team, a lot of people that played a role to make sure that at least we were able to make the impact that we did.
But if you failed, we wouldn't be talking about those people, we'd be talking about you.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
So now that we give the credit, be happy to take it.
All right, I take it.
Okay.
But then I also have to give credit to those who helped.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So AKWASI AGYEMAN, young man born and bred in Ghana, studied in Ghana and then traveled to the US to study further. We're going to talk about his life journey. But I want to start with when he was called to serve as the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority. Where were you? What were you doing? What happened? What did you do?
I'm trying to recollect because there were a lot of moving parts. After election 2016, we had a transitional team, and I was asked to be part of the transition team by the former president. And the focus areas was in tourism. But that was not an area that I would say I had expertise in, because at that time I was the president of the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association. And I really wanted
by dint of the fact that you were heading a radio station?
We had a radio station,
Which one is that?
Media Alliance Broadcasting. So we had 4 radio stations and a TV station. YFM, 3 of them, Happy FM, and an ETV. So I wanted to be in my little corner doing the work that I was doing. But as we went through the transition program, then it was Honorable Ayako, and then I was told that Catherine Afeku Honorable was going to be the minister. So we started working with her in the transition, working with the various agencies. And then one day he just called me, said that she wanted to see me. So we went to the conference center. That was where the transition meetings were happening. And he said, look, I've been told by the president that you are going to go do tourism. I said, me? I mean, so first there was a shock. I mean, I was shocked because I'd worked with the Ghana Tourism Board before. I mean, Mr. Miracle then was the CEO. We worked with them on the Tourism Awards. And then when Jake was the Minister of Tourism and Diaspora Relations at that time, we worked with him on 2 projects. One of them was the Presidential Tour of Ghana with the African Society in Washington, and then ABC. So ABC brought in their uncle, Forrest Sawyer, of blessed memory, and the president of the country then, President J. Kufuor, took him around, and we were the fixers on the ground. And so that gave me a peek into what tourism really was in Ghana. So we went around the whole country with Forest Sawyer. At some point, the president said, "Hey, I can't spare that much time." This was about 2 weeks of production. So he did a few. He did Kakum, he did the Cape Coast and the Mina Castles, and asked Jake to continue the journey. And so we went with Jake. And
So at the time, what role were you playing under Jake?
No, I was working in the private sector. I wasn't a public servant, but our company then was the more like coordinators for the Travel Channel. The program was for Discovery, and Discovery had a travel channel. So we were the coordinators on ground, making sure that everything was booked, production was on point, the various equipment. We didn't have that many of the sophisticated equipment, so they had to fly in a lot of equipment to Ghana. So we did a tour of the country, and then went to the US to premiere it. I mean, it was a fantastic program. The president was there. They did a massive premiere of it in Washington. Then they said, no, this is good, so we will do another one. So Anthony Bourdain of Blessed Memory. Yeah, Anthony Bourdain then said he was going to do the No Reservations show here, which was a food tourism program. And that guy was crazy. So he came in, ate everything. I mean, we were just moving.
Tasted every Ghanaian food.
And drank the appetition that he could drink in a day. I mean, I don't think anybody could match it. So that was my entry into tourism. But then I didn't expect to be in the helm of tourism. It was not something that I had dreamt of. So when I got the announcement from the conference center, it was like for the day before I was the CEO of Global Media Broadcasting, and here I was going to be given a letter to go and head tourism. So the first thing I did was to drive to Ghana Tourism Authority to look at the building. Okay. So, and then I was in the car park looking at how people were moving around, because I hadn't been there. The last time I
You should have called me. I'd have told you everything.
Later I was told that you were the master of the game. So probably I should have placed a call to my brother and said, hey.
Oh my God.
But then, so I went around, sat in my car in the car park, looked around, saw people moving around, and then started reading a bit about tourism and the work that needed to be done. I mean, from where I was coming from and the little work that I had done, I assumed that tourism was just marketing. You just sell the country. Till I went in there and realized that, hey, this is more than...
there is the creation and there is the curation.
And there are a lot of things that we probably take for granted in terms of the various 4 operational areas of tourism. You have the operational side, who dealing with standards and quality assurance, dealing with product development, dealing with research. And I saw that there were a lot of gaps. I mean, for example, where we couldn't track properly the number of people coming into the country. So we had some consultations to do with immigration, with foreign affairs, in tracking the number of people getting visas in the various embassies, and then how many people were really coming into Ghana and where were they coming from. Because at the airport, unfortunately, the data was sitting with immigration. They were just...
And it wasn't being shared.
And if it was even being shared, we were not doing the data diving that needed to be done to see, okay, how many people are coming from the Americas, how many people are coming from Europe,
how many for business, for leisure,
and all that. So once you do that, then when you're marketing or planning your strategy, for example, we were doing a lot of visits and tours to Europe, UK, the World Tourism Market, ITB in Berlin, Vacanti in Holland,
and then one in South Africa as well.
South Africa, WTM Africa.
But the WTM in the UK was the one that Ghana took most seriously.
Yes.
Because that is the one, I would attend that sometimes, and I would see that the people would come from Egypt, actually brought sand from Egypt.
Yeah.
And then they had miniature pyramids.
Yeah.
My God.
Every country takes the WTM.
And I'll tell you, one time I was so heartbroken.
What?
Because on the Ghana stand, and this is not in your time, this I think was in Elizabeth Ejari's time.
So that would be either or Sabon's, because Elizabeth Ejari is the minister. So you're coming to...
No, at the time, but at the end of the day, everything in tourism ends with the minister.
Okay, all right.
Because your department reports to the minister. At the Ghana stand, we had hired a Ghanaian to produce food for the Ghana stand. who I think did not have certification to do that work.
So the food was
So when they came round, they wanted just the temperature records for the food.
Wow.
And these people got their knickers in a twist.
Wow.
So they were ordered to take all the beautiful, delicious Ghanaian food there and take them to dump in a bin.
Really? Jeez.
I was so heartbroken. I was like, we have professional caterers in Ghana who we could fly over,
Right.
but we also have professional caterers in England. But somebody must have given a job to somebody they know.
Sometimes, Kwasi, it's not necessarily that. I think sometimes, in Ghana, we take a lot of things for granted. SOPs, I mean, last week there was a game at the stadium, and there were only a few gates open. So after the gates,
What about the rest of the gates?
yes. So somebody knows that I have to open the gate, but it's not probably written. I mean, you go to a lot of places, it's written. You have to do it.
Of course.
So the supervisor comes and says, if you go to a lot of the washrooms in Ghana, to the hotels, I always go and I enter the washroom.
And I want to see who has been scheduled every 45 minutes to clean.
And who has come to check. And sometimes you go there at 9 a.m. and the person has already checked up to 11. It means that, I'm not coming here to like...
He's already taken all the boxes.
Because he knows nobody's checking. And so that probably is what might have happened. Not necessarily that somebody gave it's fine to give business to people you know if they can do the work. But sometimes we take our eyes...
But if you give business to people you know who can do the work, and they are caterers, they have a chef, they have a sous chef,
So they have to have
a
a
commis chef,
certification.
and they have a certification, they will know that if you're serving
Exactly.
food there, you must have temperature records.
Exactly. So we tend to do a few things wrong. But back to what we were talking about. So we looked at the data and we realized that, hey, the US market, which was our number one in terms of arrivals, between the US and Nigeria, always number one, number two. In 2016, Nigeria was number one.
Coming to Ghana.
But then
And you're not even checking the ones who are coming by bus or Okada.
all of those things we don't even see. So it dawned on me that look, we then have to look at the US market a bit more seriously. Around the same time, then I had taken over the minister. Called me one day and said, look, we were in cabinet and the president was talking about continuing what Jake started.
The Joseph Project, that's what he called it.
Yeah, the Joseph Project. So
Because he and I spoke about it long before he even announced it.
Yeah.
Jake was my man. We both love English language, so we would just speak and speak and speak and speak.
Jake was a good man. He was a good man. So I said, okay, so what do we do? Because then the president had already appointed Office of Diaspora Affairs at the presidency.
Which I disagree with.
Okay, we'll talk
Which I
about
disagree with, and we'll talk about. I have clarity on those issues.
Okay, he had done that, and
Because
then
there's too much duplication in government.
That one I
That's exactly what it is.
That one I understand.
That office should be at the Ghana Tourism Authority. What is it doing at the presidency?
Right on. But then he had done that, and then he had done at the Foreign Affairs there was a diaspora desk, and even at GIPC there was a diaspora desk. I said, if this man wants us to now look at the diaspora, then how do we do it? So fast forward to somewhere June 2017. This was 6 months in. GIPC were doing a roadshow in Washington, the Africa Business Council or something of that sort. So I went with them, and then the focus for me then was to try and see how we could connect with various diaspora groups and start bringing them back. Because after Panafest, though Panafest was still there, I think for me having a celebration like Panafest every 2 years, it didn't fit the bill.
Let me throw the spanner in this works right now. Well, not exactly a spanner, but I think it will give you an opportunity to respond with more clarity. So when that conference was done in the United States, I have friends who attended. And one attended with the understanding that he was coming over and he would be shown projects that were available and that required funding. So some of them would form their little groups to come and fund. So let's say, let me just hypothesize here. Say we go to an area, maybe in Bukom, and we see that it's become a good business area, and it needs just a motel, not a hotel. A motel with a space where drivers can park their cars. So the land problems have been solved. This area is this is the amount of investment we need. Unfortunately, that did not happen in that DC project. So people came there lots of conversations, but no solid, tangible things where people could say, they showed us these 27 projects.
Tick.
My group chose this one.
Okay. All right. That's feedback. I think you're right, because I've heard that from not just you, a few other people, in terms of especially the road shows that happen, that we want tangibles and we want something that says, okay, this is it, this is
sign here,
let's go. But sometimes it takes time, and sometimes it takes a conversation, because for me especially, when I went to that program, my focus was who are the various diaspora groups I could talk to. And in the list I saw AfricanAncestry.com. I said, this looks interesting. So I booked the time to meet with them. Gina Page is the name of the lady. And then what they did was to do DNA testing. And when people test, they will find where they come from.
The origin.
I said, look, I'm here to try and get a lot more people diaspora to come to Ghana. And he said, what's special? So we talked about it. So I need to introduce you to this guy. So he said, there's a guy called Diallo. And I said, okay, Diallo might be from
Senegal.
Mali or Senegal. Apparently he was from New Jersey. So the following day we met with Diallo. And he said, look, I have a project called Back to Africa. And I want to do it every February, which is the Black History Month. And I want to take the people to Senegal. I said, why Senegal? I mean, Ghana is the deal. So as we talked, he said, okay.
Senegal is big.
Yeah, I know. And
Senegal is big on tourism.
Had, free visa for US citizens. So Senegal was the thing. But I spoke to Diallo. He said, look, my foster father is from Ghana, so I'll take a chance with you. The tourism authority has to support. So we came in here, Diallo came, we signed, and did the first Back to Africa project in 2018.
So at this point, the year of return had not yet started.
Had not yet started.
But the Back to Africa sounds very much like the year of return anyways.
Yeah, so Back to Africa was February 2018. But when we started Back to Africa, then there was a pushback. Because in the industry, people felt that, hey, there's already Pan Affairs, there's emancipation. Why are you trying to duplicate things? And I said, no. I mean, from where I went to school in New Orleans, and every weekend there was a festival.
Which school was that?
Tulane.
What did you study at Tulane?
I did MBA in Marketing and Information Systems.
Fantastic.
So I said, look, every weekend there was a festival. Either it's a jazz fest, whether it's the Essence Fest, there was always something. And that is the reason why you could have people come in every weekend. So we can't build a tourism industry where...
And we do one program a year.
Every year or
and
2
then
years.
wait for traditional festivals.
No, that doesn't go to... So we did a Black to Africa. So when they came in with Diallo and co, we have to now re-engage with the various stakeholders, because in Ghana, if you're not careful, it becomes a we and them. So we have to now go back to Panafest, talk to the Panafest Foundation, talk to people like...
At the time, who was leading Panafest?
Professor Issy Sutherland, and then Rabbi Cohen.
Because I worked at the very first Panafest in Ghana. I was a master of ceremonies.
92?
Yes.
Right.
I was the master of ceremonies for the big event that we held when we brought Jermaine Jackson, when Louis Farrakhan was in town. Yes, I was the host for the shows.
That was a good
And
one.
I remember that was a very, very well organized event.
That was good.
And I think it was good because at the time, the industry practitioners were quite literate. They were all very well read.
Yeah.
Now we have too many people who say, I'm an industry professional, and maybe they are a decorator, maybe they are a sound engineer.
Which all adds up.
But to be at the table of planning, you require a bit of reading and a bit of expertise and a bit of exposure with programs, not only in Ghana but elsewhere. If not, what you bring to the table is too small. So Panafest was great because the quality of people who planned it.
Plus, I think there's also strong state support for it. At that time, the president, Jerry Rawlings, was very strong on that. And
so he had a clear understanding what tourism could do.
All right, so I think when we did that and brought everybody to the table, we had in our mind that, okay, so we will... So Diallo, as we're having this conversation, he said, look, guys, next year is an opportunity. Because we have this 400 years of African American history. So we said, okay, then we're going to do a homecoming for next year. We planned a tour, roadshow. We went to DC, Virginia, New York, Chicago. engaging with various groups. Like, I mean, we had a group who said they were the ones who brought Obama to power. We had to go sit with them, tell them what we were trying to do. So in my mind, we're doing a big homecoming. Till we came back home, and then we said, okay, let's start the stakeholder engagement. And when we started talking to people, like the diaspora affairs guys, Abibio and Co, said, oh, but every year we do our homecoming summit. So if you call the year homecoming, then you are killing our brand. And so one business discussion led to another, one brainstorming led to another, and then we came up with the name, the Year of Return.
Who coined the name? It matters.
I don't remember.
Somebody must take credit for it, and we make sure we pay their children money.
Actually, I don't remember because we were so many people in the room at that time.
No, but it's not. Look, when I was at ABC and we had to coin terms for different things, I was a kid. I was only 26 years old.
Somebody said, "Why don't you call it the Return?" And so that would probably be Ernest. And then there was, I think, Rabbi said, "Oh, but the Return." You know, so it was different parts. So we took it back to the president at that time.
Sam Jonah told me something many years ago, says Sam Jonah.
Yeah.
He says, when you don't have one person who has sufficient knowledge to do a job, you form a committee. Because if you have somebody who knew how to coin terms and create captions for something, he's the go-to guy.
No.
Somebody must take credit for it. Will you take credit for it?
I'll take credit for the idea of, okay, let's have the homecoming. But then when we got to a point where we realized that there were clashes with other things, it wasn't more of a committee, but stakeholder engagement, because you also needed all these people to sing from the same hymn book. You didn't want a situation where we're doing the return and then other people say, oh, this is for this group. And you know, the history of Ghana, especially from the Nkrumah days, where Kwame Nkrumah is a Pan-Africanist. The Dankobuzia people, they don't like Nkrumah, so whatever. You know, that still was at play in a way. The reason why I said
even at that level where you're trying to get tourists into Ghana.
I'm explaining what I'm saying. So it gets to a point where in the year 2007, there was Panafest. When Jake started the Joseph Project, there seemed to have been a conflict. Why? Because it was felt that you have Panafest, why are you creating another project? But Jake was clear in his mind that this was a complementary project to Panafest. But because there wasn't enough engagement with the various stakeholders, you have the people who feel that, okay,
there's the Ghana Tourist Federation
and all that.
So many,
you need to bring all of them. So that was, for me, I saw that if you're not careful, we'll fall into the Joseph Project trap, where it's seen like, okay, this is MPP government idea, it should die after, you know, something like that. So we said, okay, let's engage. So we engaged everybody, the chiefs in Cape Coast, Elmina, Osaberima, Kwesiata, and Anakundia, went to Anumabu. So we engaged a lot of chiefs. And everybody said, okay, this will be a good one, we'll support it. And so we went back to the president. He went through everything that we had planned. He liked it. He said, okay, I will support this. I will come to Washington in New York in September for the United Generals, UN General Assembly, and then I will help you launch it. So, this was going to be something else. So 2018, September, the president said, okay, I'm ready. We went to Washington, and in front of the Congressional Black Caucus, people like, what's the name of the lady now, Mayor of LA, this Shirley like Jackson and all those people, he launched it. If our anticipation of what happened, I don't think we had it at that time.
Hold it right there, because when we come back, there's more to talk about on Master of the Game with the former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority, who also runs an institution in Ghana where he trains tourism and hospitality professionals. Right after this on Master of the Game. Okay.
Excellent furnishing in a real estate business is a great deal for survival. My struggles as a young estate developer were cut short when I discovered Fernart Ghana. With quality furniture made from the finest woods and amazing after-sale service, Fernart Ghana changed my story with every single home I built. It's a one-stop shop that serves the interests of clients with a variety of living room and dining sets, solid wood kitchen installations, wardrobes, doors, cabinets, beds, pergolas, floor parquets, and many other wooden products that will last a lifetime. With Fernart Ghana, all clients are offered the opportunity to customize furniture to their specifications, and the smile on their faces says it all. Thanks to Fernart, now your home can look beautiful with furniture that would last for generations. Visit Fernart Ghana today and share my story. Locate us at Yaniba Estate, Osu, Accra, or call 0303 966085 or 055 278 4097. Think wood, think Fernart.
Sorry, Adiachi. Daybreak again. Daybreak again. Daybreak again.
I've been for bam bam, wo mala mabase. I swear
Obia Nini Movement. Obia Nini Movement, one of the favorite tunes of the AKWASI Agyeman. Owusu got lost in your name. Why?
I don't know how it got lost, but I think somewhere after 4, 5, 6 form, I don't know, it got lost along the way.
So tell me, now you're in New York. Now the president has determined that a name has been arrived at, and he's launching this program. What is the program about, and how did you do it?
That launch happened at the Washington Press Club, and Washington Press Club is quite famous for 3 things. That's where I believe the first time Mandela was released and went to the US. That's where he did his press conference, and there's a history of also Obama making very great speeches there. So we chose that venue for its significance.
So it's both historic and historical.
Yeah, historic and historical. For its significance also in the whole Pan-African conversation. And the Congressional Black Caucus agreed to be there. So it was a good occasion. The president, you know, when he's in the elements, he can deliver something.
Extempore as well.
Extempore, yeah. So he came in there, talked about, and that's why he said his famous quote that never again should we allow a handful of people with superior technology to come into Africa and seize our people. And nowadays, they don't need to seize us.
I must say, this was at the point where Ghanaians had a lot of hope in the presidency.
Oh yes, I think he did well. I mean, with delivering that, and not just that, but also inviting the global African family to come to Ghana. And so the following day, it was all over. And so the plans that we had really was to start this thing in January 2019. But just as we came to Ghana, we got a call from Boris Kujo. Say, hey, we want to come to Ghana in December. We have a full circle festival and we are coming. There are about 40 of us.
So there's Boris Kujo, there's Bosma St. John, Badass Boss.
Yeah, Badass Boss came with Boris Kujo, AJ Johnson, Michael J. White. So they all came. And as soon as they landed, we knew this was going to be something else, because the amount of following these guys have and the fact that they are choosing Ghana for their Christmas period and all that, it became just a big hit for us. So everywhere on social media, international, people were just calling, hey, what's going on? And our tour operator said this is going to be great, because they started receiving calls.
So in all honesty, you had your year of return plan in place.
Yes.
However, it was helped by the plan that our brothers and sisters in the diaspora also had in place. And once they brought their plan here, they had their full circle.
I'm saying, when they heard of the year of return, September, that this is going to happen, they said, look, we want to take the lead. We want to come in December. So it was a catalyst for the Full Circle Festival. And they had engaged with us in terms of, okay, they are coming full circle, back to the dot, where it all started. And so, yes, that gave us more like the push, like the starter gun, boom. And then all of a sudden, everything now rekindled again. And so 2019 was a very good year.
And I must say, we must give a lot of credit to all our social media executives in Ghana, because they are the ones who powered it and made it go all around the world.
People
because
like Woody Meyer,
every little thing,
Deborah,
you know,
and all those
every one of them, Twins Don't Beg,
yeah,
Nkonkonsa, we need to say thank you to these guys.
Thank you.
They did a great job.
And for free. You know, that's what's surprising.
But that's another problem I was going to come to. We need to have a budget for them when they're doing this work for the nation.
You know, I agree with you.
We need to have a budget for them.
I agree with you.
Even if it is like a stipend.
Coming from where I'm coming from.
You know, because it's true that, well, they will get their views, but how much money do they make from those views? They're doing this work with such passion to help Ghana. If we had an accountant, we'll pay him. If we had a medical professional, we'll pay him. Why do you think the people in media and culture must not be paid?
Look, it's something that, sorry, I said Kwasi. It's something that we have to discuss.
There's no discussion.
No.
Pay the man something for the work they do.
I agree with you, but I'm saying in terms of bringing that as part of the imprint of all the programs that we do in Ghana, because nowadays that we have the bloggers, even when people are talking about media, they want to invite media, they want to invite Class FM, they will invite Class TV.
And they don't make a budget.
They don't make a budget for anything. They think that, oh, this is content for you. But like you said, if you're bringing in the
I'm moving cameras.
yeah, the moving cameras. So
I'm
we need
moving
to-
dollies.
we need
I'm
to-
moving
we need to-
staff.
So this is something that I believe needs a national discussion, because the work that these people have done. I sat in an Uber one day in DC. We were doing the Ghana week, and as we were going, the guy was Ethiopian, and we were talking, and I said, "Hey, where are you from?" He said, "I'm from Ethiopia." And I said, "I'm from Ghana." He said, "Oh, Woode Maya." And I said,
He's one of our biggest stars
Yes,
in social
and the guy
media,
was telling
if not the biggest.
so he was asking me, "Did you watch the yesterday?" I said, "What happened?" He said, "Woode Maya was in this," and I said, he said, "Every day, that's what we follow here." So these guys are really pushing us out there.
Exactly.
But we'll sit here and maybe CNN will come with a budget because.
In fact, you've reminded me. I need to get my team to bring Woode Maya here.
Yeah.
Woode Maya needs to sit in his chair because he's definitely a master of his game.
He is a master of
Definitely.
the game. So I think that gave us, the push, and then all of a sudden everybody wanted to come. I say it was divine because the number of calls that I would get. I was there. I got a call from WWE, Kofi Kingston, say, "Hey, I'm coming to Ghana. I've been watching WWE, but I thought he was from Jamaica because he always dresses like that." And he said, "Look, I'm Ghanaian, and my mom actually works in the Ghana embassy in France. So he is coming." And the beauty of it is now we're getting media that was not conventional. Our conventional media, the travel channels and other things. Now he was coming with a full cast from WWE because he had been made a world champion.
Fantastic.
And he came, different kind of followers, about 10 million views on his visit to Ghana. So, and then you had Steve Harvey coming in, you have Samuel Jackson, and all of these people were coming on their own. People said, "Hey, how much are you paying these guys to bring?" I said, "No, you'll be there and you get a call. Hey, Steve Harvey is coming."
But we have to say thank you to Boris Kujo for starting that train.
Oh yes, that's why
Boris,
that is why I talked about that.
Can you give me a shot of Boris Kujo on screen? Boris has done such a great job for his beloved fatherland, Ghana. Great
so that's
job.
why I talked about.
He and Badass Boss.
Badass Boss. So that, actually, she's just an incredible person because I think that was them in
Top visitors that made it. Yeah.
Yeah, that group picture was Boris'
Fantastic.
crew and the crew. They came in Badass Boss and another one, AJ Johnson.
Yep.
She's been. They came in December. I saw her again around July, and she had already been to Ghana 8 times.
And the funny thing is, when Michael J. White came to Ghana, I think I had already traveled.
Yeah.
I was outside the country, but I was thinking, oh my God, if only the Karate Federation or somebody knew about this, they could have had a tour in his honor, because he's one of the greatest karate, athletes in the world.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we got to know quickly enough to really benefit from all these visits.
Yeah, we didn't. And also, it's also because a lot of them, like when Steve Harvey was coming.
Steve Harvey, for instance,
Yeah.
nearly every presenter
I wanted
would have
to.
loved to meet him.
But
we did not
because
capitalize on that.
We were not bringing them on our budget. They'll say, "I will give you 30 minutes." Some of them will tell us, "Look, I'm coming on a vacation. I'm not there to work."
The one that hurt the most was when Spike Lee
Spike
came
Lee,
to
yeah.
Ghana,
Yeah, Spike
and
Lee-
none of our filmmakers could even sit with him for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I agree, but I think the next architecture of all these kind of things, we need to really put in resources to invite these people at our cost.
I want us to take a look at some of the videos when all these things were happening.
Okay, all right.
Right here.
Oh, this.
Today, we are here to talk to some of the key stakeholders in the tourism industry here in Ghana. We're going to talk to people who manage hotels, restaurants. Have the numbers really been increasing? Are there really people coming because of Year of Return? Let's find out as we talk to everyone today.
The Year of Return certainly has increased the numbers of people who would come. And we're talking about people at all levels. You're talking about people who are famous, actors, actresses, other people in positions that normally we wouldn't see them, not in those kind of numbers.
During Panafest, we actually had people coming over on a bus and stuff like that. I think it's really helped a lot of businesses around here, and we haven't done badly with them too.
It's been one of the greatest ideas for the past decade. When it comes to my industry, if you look at the Year of Return, the impact it has had on my hotel specifically, is great. Some of the months we are doing twice the figure we had last year.
Twice the figure?
Yeah, in fact, last month, I'm very certain that we will do 3 times what we had last year.
Honestly speaking, the volume increased astronomically as compared to the previous years that we held the Panafest and Emancipation Day Festival. We weren't too much surprised because, as you rightly put it, the president declared a year of return. So honestly speaking, people that have come or who came last month, last 2 months, swelled to an astronomical level.
The year of return is so massive. I would say the biggest tourism spotlight that has happened to Ghana. Usually we'll be doing 1 or 2 tours, but this time around we handled 4 or 5 trips. When you look at the booking we have ahead, November, December is phenomenal. It has never happened before. We'll be doing something around 10, 12 tours at the same time.
I've not seen any significant increase in my bookings, but being in the castle here, I've seen that a lot of visitors are coming. So whether it comes to me or not, that is not much of a problem because it brings revenue to our country.
This year was very amazing. I never thought we would get tourists from January till this month continuously. I wish every year this year return goes on because seriously I've met different tourists, and secondly too, we have a lot of Black Americans that appreciate that.
I think the Year of Return is one of the biggest initiatives in Ghana's tourism. Why do I say that? Ghana's default tourism market is the African American market due to our many years of affinity and association with Africans in the diaspora, both in the Americas and the Caribbean. So anything that is targeted at this market helps to lift up the industry, give it another lease of life.
I think the Year of Return was such a great initiative. As a carrier that offers direct services between Washington, D.C. and Accra, we have seen quite a significant number of groups flying in course of this year. And we're still counting. As part of the activities on the calendar of the Year of Return, we have seen a peak on Jamestown to Jamestown activity, and we're also expecting more on Afrochella, which is coming up in December.
I think it's one of the best initiatives that we've ever had to promote tourism. Yes, we got businesses in August, which was massive. I would not complain at all. Last half of December is sold out. No room in Accra for December because it's all to do with the Year of Return.
It's evident that through our conversations today with people in the local business community that it's been the catalyst to inviting people from the diaspora home to Ghana. And we are so happy to be a part of this journey of all of these people.
Fantastic. So as you can see, the Year of Return project was a brilliant one. A brilliant one, a very, very well executed one. But let's be very honest too, that it was a success, not only because of the work of Ghanaians in Ghana. It was a success because of Ghanaians in the diaspora who are determined that they were going to invite their friends to come to see their ancestry in Ghana. True or false?
No, it's true. I mean, and also building on work like people like Dennis Terry and co. You know, for example, with
Radical D has been doing his PMP family in London for years. And then the West Coast group was also doing theirs. So, Van Dyke was also doing his with Hot FM.
Yeah. So all those things, I mean, what we did was, as the year rolled by, we realized that this is not something that we could contain because people will call and say, when is the Year of Return? So it's a whole year program. But they said, no, we want one program that we can all come to. So we decided to climax it with December in GH. So we launched December in GH as a sub-brand under the Year of Return. We said, okay, let's market Ghana.
And December in GH lives on.
It lives on.
So that's your legacy.
That one I can claim.
So when we say December in GH, we can say AKWASI AGYEMAN.
Yes.
Okay.
But then we built on the work that others had done. Like I said, Dennis Teria and co. And we said, look, and Afrochella had also started at that time. So we said, look, let's put it together. Let's see how we can support you through marketing, through advocacy, through social media, and make sure that this is bigger than life.
And through government policy?
Government policy, yeah.
Was there any policy
on
changed?
Visa on arrival. We said, okay, because at that time in July, August 2019, we saw pictures of people queuing up in Washington looking for visas to come to Ghana.
Not good.
We said, no. If we are inviting people, then they should come in.
Yeah, but you didn't like that. However, Ghanaians are queuing for visas to go to America here. Why do we condone that?
I don't condone that. I don't know why.
I said we.
I've been speaking against it. I mean, I live in Abelempe,
and sometimes they stand in the hot sun.
Look, the assemblyman there is called Terry. Anytime I call him, he says, boss, who can't seminar? Because I said, why are people standing outside for a visa to go to Canada? Why can't we have a shade? And there's a place there. I said, look, let's take it, let's make it comfortable, let's put chairs there so people come and they sit down. We could even sell drinks. We wrote to the assembly, they said, no, that is too close. But I said, you see them. Now there are people renting chairs for them to sit down.
Renting chairs?
Oh, yeah.
So that's what? A small scale business or a micro enterprise?
Mini micro.
Excuse my language, I'm going for your fucking.
I tell you. But this is
renting chairs when you're going to get a visa.
Yeah, you rent a chair and sit on, and then you pay.
What if I bring my chair from home then?
Okay, that's another.
Or there'll be no place to put my chair.
You can put a chair there. But the thing is, people come and they are standing there in the sun, and you're driving, and I'm looking at it, and I feel so bad seeing that.
And the consulate is happy to see people who are going to pay money.
It's not even a consulate. These are just, they are submitting their visa forms there. The consulate is sitting somewhere in cantonments, Ridge.
But at least when we saw people queuing to go for visas for hours, we did something about it. Are we more humane then?
I think we are in that sense, and I mean, in our case, we need the people to come because we need our hotels to be full. We need the numbers.
Who tells you they don't need people to come?
I don't know. If they
Most people who are born and bred in those so-called civilized countries will not take certain jobs. Without people coming from other countries to those countries, the hospitality industry in Europe will die.
I agree with you. It needs to be streamlined. There has to be a proper work abroad program for people to go in there, get trained. I mean, there are people that we've been working with, like Evolve. She takes people to Dubai, 2 years. You are paid, you work, you come back. And in some of the hotels, I can point to some of the ladies who went and who have come back and are working. So that sort of decent migration, I think I support. But not when people are treated like, you go to the embassy, I mean, you drive to the American embassy, now I see God has done something. But it's still very bad seeing people queuing up for visas. And now you apply for a visa and it takes 8 months, 6 months.
So policy-wise, we did the visa on arrival.
We did visa on arrival.
Did it work?
Oh, it worked.
Success rate?
So I think we have doubled, not doubled, I mean the numbers moved from around 100,000 the previous year to about 130 in a month. So that's about 30%.
Whoa.
Yeah, in December 2019. Because the people were just...
Now the situation you have with the visa arrival program is that somebody has gotten into your country before you can check if they are a felon from their country.
No, because now internationally this thing is wide. Everybody on the watch list, Ghana can see it. The manifest comes before. So once somebody sits on the flight, you see it.
They shouldn't get on the flight before you see it because the money's already spent then.
But when you go to the embassy, how do you check? There's no way they can check. So the people getting the visa is not an issue. It's a matter of making sure that our systems are robust enough. We are plugged into the international alert system and we can know that, oh, this guy coming is a criminal. So you get to the airport, you detain him, he's back on the flight. But not at the cost of the airline, because we have a visa on arrival policy. If we didn't have that, then the airline is liable for carrying a criminal into your country. So that happened, and then these things happened. And like the video we just saw, for me, the greatest achievement of the year of return is not just the numbers, but the benefit to small businesses. I mean, we went to a cinema.
The Killiwilly seller. The yam fryer. Kosiani Moko.
The Kosiani Moko people.
Why do the foreigners love Kosiani Moko like that?
And I don't know where Kosiani Moko came from, because those times I remember when we used to go to the village, you sit in the Watonchini and the Kosiani Moko.
We thought it was wrong. But I'm afraid Kosiani Moko.
Now Kosiani Moko, in the morning, 6 a.m., you see Kosiani Moko. I say, hey, this, and it's so easy to eat. You know, people just, So that's...
And then the kebab people.
The kebab
I brought for the kebab. And we put tankwa, you know, this sprinkles.
So, yeah, it's good. So, for me, that's a benefit. If we went to the art center and people were saying, look, we've been selling all year round. And that, for me, is something that we need to build on as a country, because tourism is such a low-hanging fruit. I mean, we had a guy who came in here and started asking of people that he had watched on social media. And these are not people that we even know. Mentioning names, where is this guy? I mean, I want to go to Kumasi, and we say you have to fly. Oh, no. And, all those kind of things. So these are things.
You won't believe it. I had a guy from Iceland come to Ghana asking for El Lizato. And he says he doesn't even understand half the things the guy says because of his accent, but he just likes him.
Like you saw that.
It's El Lizato, we are star.
You saw that thing of Acrobato, the Spanish commentary.
Oh yes, yeah. They used it abroad.
Acrobato. But it's true. Acrobato is such a gem, but how are we using it? So I think it's tourism, hospitality is such a low-hanging fruit. We say we're going to create jobs. Now we're in a 24-hour economy. 24-hour is tourism. 24-hour is hospitality. I mean, we did a project at the Osu Night Market in Darkwah, so just before I left office, to try and create a proper eatery where people could go there.
And this is where I have a problem with policy. Because you talked about the policy for visa on arrival. It looks like our policy is geared more towards foreigners than our own selves. What about policy to ensure that where people eat in public spaces and where people go to buy what we call the commodification of our culture, which is the art center, can be converted into a place that looks like Accra Mall? Why should people come and buy the products of your culture in a place that is filthy? Exactly. And when it rains, it's a mess. And if you're walking, you can just trip and fall. And we say we create policy. What policy? Who are the people who formulate those policies? Do they actually go out there and see how we sell our nation?
I think it's more also of coordination. The policy might be there, but the coordination, because
I don't think the policy is there, because if the policy is there, one of the things,
because there's a policy that says that every public area needs washrooms, whatever it is. But
that shouldn't be policy. That's common sense. That shouldn't be policy. To have restrooms in a public area, that shouldn't be policy.
No, but if you don't make it a policy, 10 people will come and sit here and they will not feel that it's their responsibility to put the washroom.
Oh no.
So the policy helps.
Oh no.
But then aside the policy, there's also that coordination, which I believe is what we lack. So we have the laws.
But why do we lack it? If you are the CEO of a company, you know full well that when guests come there, they need a place to sit. And they need a place to ease themselves.
That's why the coordination helps. Let me explain. So, for example, the art center that you talk about is under the National Commission on Culture. It's not even under them. They gave the land to some people who are Federation of Arts and Craft Dealers to come and set up there. So I'm sitting at the Ghana Tourism Authority. That is not...
You have no authority there.
Over them. I am sitting there.
Who has authority over them?
The National Commission on Culture, because they leased out the land to them. And every month they take them 100 cedis.
And we appoint people to be heads of National Commission on Culture.
Yes.
And they come and sit there and take their salary. And then they get their term of office and they leave. And the art center is still what it is. We must line all of those people up on TV and ask them to account for their stewardship.
Therefore,
no, really, we must ask them to account for their stewardship.
Yeah, so I'm coming to that. So then you have, for example, the Museums and Monuments Board, which is also headed by somebody else. Their focus is the preservation of all the monuments and the museums. So if you are sitting here as a tourism authority, you have a guest, people go in there, and they enter the washroom. It's not at the level that you will expect at a 5-star, because it's a 5-star edifice. We are expecting Obama coming to Ghana, going there and all that. So how do we coordinate? How do we
You coordinate it by creating one authority. Exactly. And making all of those agencies under that one authority.
Could be.
I remember, Mr. Robert Ahunka Lindsay, when he was Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, and I was his Public Affairs and Communications Director. I recall he made a proposal to President Kufuor. He says, you have too many agencies.
I agree.
You have Free Zones Board, and you give the person a CEO position. You have Ghana, what's it called? It's a tourism development, a CEO, like a general. Many of these people must not be generals. Many of them must be brigadiers beneath a general. So create one authority and make them agencies under one authority.
That could be a
because
solution.
the way it is, we have too many captains. The top is too heavy. The top is too heavy.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
So did you propose something like that, or you thought if you said it, they will say you are seeking to elevate yourself?
No, we proposed in a different way, not necessarily to pull people down, but to have,
not to pull them down, to get them to work.
To have a coordinating office, proper coordinating office of all tourism.
I don't like this word coordinating.
You know why?
I like reporting.
Okay.
Better than coordinating.
You know,
people must report to somebody so they are held responsible.
To make those changes that you're advocating takes a lot of time and effort.
It takes a lot of cojones from a presidency.
Maybe.
That's it.
Maybe.
A lot of cojones from a presidency who selects just 5 people to sit down to say, think this out. Like what is happening with Elon Musk in America.
Yeah.
Government efficiency. Too many offices, too many people.
So that could be a way out to, like, because I believe that we have too many.
Because my blood is culture and tourism.
I believe that we have too many. For example, under the ministry we have
too many captains for one small team.
13 or 14 agencies. Now about 15 because we've added on the Film Authority, the Creative Arts Agency, which are all, have
the Film Authority overseeing which film, which actor, which producer.
Okay, so it's not necessarily that, but also to promote Ghana as a film destination.
No, that can be done by the Ghana Tourism Authority.
It can be, but then you need, for example, there's a case of
create a film desk.
Censorship.
Hold it. Create a film desk at the Ghana. Create a film desk at the Ghana Tourism Authority. We have too many authorities. Authority at the Kakrakao.
Yeah. So
authority in your board.
I agree with you, but the point is that it's not necessarily bad to have a film authority.
No, it's not bad, but with the size of the industry as it stands, how is it an authority?
Okay, so
the industry is non-existent.
You could have.
Tell me the 10 good films that were made in Ghana over the last year, and I'll tell you we are not ready for a film authority. Maybe a board, not yet an authority.
Your films are no good. Is that what you're saying?
Film the
if you go to
Shelley Frimpong man so tenase say we jai film ya kakra no and then film ni ayi asabe yetumi ka se yennuanu mo ewo Lagos yi o mu film wi a yenso yetumi de ye kire ya yamba ni nyina mpo nhwa ya film no.
You know, because I'm a shareholder of Silverbird. I can tell you for a fact, and it's true, if you bring in a Ghana movie, I don't know why, whether it's a storyline or whatever it is, Shirley's films probably would do well the first week. But if you brought in a Hollywood movie, it probably stays on for a month and it's packed back to back.
Why?
So I don't know whether it's the marketing of it, whether it's the storylines, because we're trying to crack it. We're trying to say, okay, let's try and promote more Ghanaian films. But it comes in at the premiere, the place is packed. The following day, 50 people.
So, you know,
so there is some...
as a shareholder in Silverbird, what do you think we need to be able to help the film industry in Ghana today? An authority? Or funding for producers and directors?
Funding, training, and equipment.
No, so your authority.
No, so maybe...
And this can eat your authority.
So the authority could lead that.
But why a farm director?
How do you get...
farm director?
So, for example, if you work with different groups, there are a lot of funding opportunities out there. So you probably need an authority, not necessarily an authority.
Not yet an authority.
You need somebody.
I think we're jumping too quickly to the authority. And you see, the thing is, you and I are also mates on our PhD program. You're trying but you don't hear because pension that you do. And pension and your PhD and pension.
So you need
this kind of pension.
That's why I love the movement. But once
we are too quick to just create generals when we don't have horses to give to the generals?
It's a discussion that I have.
I have stopped having discussions.
No, at Parliament, because you see, it's the acts. Who is passing the laws? The acts and
Parliament and you'll be a co-parliament behind the winning DSAO.
No, so
be a chrono film on no to me fund day campaign. Massa, but Parliament near drone winning the SCA aptitude test and San Yako Parliament.
To do what?
Aptitude test.
No, why would they
to make sure people can even read and understand the bills that are being brought there.
Okay.
That's a fact.
So that's
we should have aptitude tests for people who are going into our parliament.
All right.
It's a casa, then ye fie casa. Do one eye brofo. Enti ebi ma kenkan kra anye wo mo kasa kra ya na dodo na nkoyi fani say be 18% na bin kan no wo mo sensen ho. And I give you this analogy. Ejuma bia wo be komu bia, use the sports analogy. There are the stars like the Messis and Ronaldos.
Yeah.
Then there are the good players who will be stars like the Lamals. And then there are the utility players like the Mikel Obis. And then there are the bench players. Who?
Thomas Partey.
Oh, Thomas, a good player who will be a star. I know he says you're utility. Says you're utility. Oh, I see. And then there are the bench players.
Oh, I know person come on this.
I know. Obin Prior or Mobi. And then there are some players. Young from Ukran got to bench. I just said if I 5 and that is the way with every industry. Yeah, and whether it is Supreme Court or Parliament or CMG,
I agree with you.
Every job has these people.
So what we need to do, and I said this at the Parliamentary Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industry, that we need to really look at all these laws that have been passed. Because sometimes you have like a Bureau of Ghana Languages, you have
duplication
folklore board.
Duplication
so there are too many duplications. So there has to be a relook, because all of them have governing acts, establishment,
and there's no interconnectivity.
And that's why I talked about the coordination. So you find out that when you're doing these things, you go there and they are.
You're talking about the coordination still. No. You have an agency which should be dissolved and merged into another agency.
Once it's not dissolved, then you coordinate.
Yeah, but then you're adding more employment that is not getting the work done.
Maybe
it is the dead horse theory. You know it in management.
Yeah.
There is a dead horse. Instead of you getting the horse to go and bury him and take maybe the fair to go and make a wig for some judges, you are standing there having a committee meeting discussing the dead horse to see how you can revive it. And then after 7 different committees, you come to the conclusion the horse is dead. By then, look at how much money you've wasted.
Okay, so back to our master of the game conversation. But now you're trying to solve all the problems.
We can't solve all the problems. We are staying with tourism.
Okay, so with tourism, I think...
And the agencies are too many.
Yes,
the minister is running too many agencies and federations. Some must merge so that we have fewer.
That I agree.
Then when you have the fewer, you take the most competent people to lead the few that remain.
That I agree. That there are few that can be merged. I believe that BGL, folklore can be merged. They have the Commission on Culture. You probably can bring all of them under that to make sure that the cultural side of our language, our folklore.
Commission of Culture, Makohope. All I was interested in was I had a friend who was writing his PhD on the commodification of culture. Many ranting, you know, make our commodification of culture and common. They didn't know what I was even talking of. The fact that we didn't cross symbol. Now one more be a brass piece. That is commodification of culture. Because what for cultural idiom, a product and nipa to me about or better echo. It may be something who say the government when that's commodification of culture. And I may be saying why the communication of culture za now you bush am talk. It in Ukraine said the more we the more now say
yes, because a lot of these agencies were also created, some of them as far back as independence.
Things
have moved. But you know,
now we
not until recently, tourism was not even part of our national discussion. You understand?
It has always been part of the discussion in my home.
In your home, but I'm saying to get it to the level where now, state of the nation, we're talking about tourism. Now, president goes to parliament and talks about tourism. We need to be there. And now we can look at, okay, what are the numbers? And that's where I talked about GT and research. Because if you do a manpower survey, we have a document we send to them, give us how many people you're employing. And they think that when they give us the information, we are going to pass it on to GM.
You're talking about how many people? Yes, I can grow for that. I think how many people you're employing.
Not at the authority, but if you go to the hotels, we need the data.
And I make us your hotel cry, Pamon crop for.
But at least if you want to know
because you buy it, electricity buy it, BBA buy it.
So let us know.
It's cleaners and come cleaning 5 rooms. He says, yeah, I am cleaning 10. Because some of the bigger hotels are cleaners and go cleaning 10 rooms. So, now they are cleaning 14.
But if we did it like we did during COVID, we did a survey and we took the data to the Ministry of Finance that out of about 600,000 people are now staying home because the hotels have shut down. All of a sudden, you need to look at how do we give them some bailout. And so what we did at that time was to say that, okay, for all those hotels that are owed money by government agencies, the Ministry of Finance was going to pay, and they did pay them.
And no happened over here.
That was step one. Step two was to put in some grant mechanism. Unfortunately, the grant I think was about just 20 million, and it was done at the ministry level through the Ghana Tourism Development Project. So some people.
Are you aware we don't produce bed sheets in Ghana?
I'm aware, and it's a sad one.
Are you aware we don't have beef for making a steak in Ghana?
Really?
Baby. Oh. Yeah. Your name, I'm not adding.
But I know.
You use slow cooking for 4 days.
No.
Yes.
But for some, for example.
Masa me want we to say sapo. Yeah, now you're the young cracker.
No, so they.
You find your steak.
Oh, I want to be there.
Oh, masa. Me ko we back baby me mo hotel ni na me we are na mfie to say sapo.
I say sapo.
Because you need a certain kind of grass-fed cattle
I know a lot of imports
to get that.
To Ghana from South Africa.
And tin bibisa me ho say e ba ne sign a bed sheet mpo yentumi nye before. Yen de na nye 3-star hotel, budget hotel.
Is the reason why right from GT I said I'll set up this center for tourism hospitality, because if you look at all the CEOs that we have, they're either talking energy or economy. Nobody is talking about the tourism bit. How do we get the knowledge into the industry? How many people? For example, I went to somebody who is trying to do manufacturing of soaps, and I said, look, do you know that you could be the supplier for all the hotels in Ghana? And this is the numbers, about 50,000 rooms. So if every day or every 2 days,
even 50% ratio,
yeah, that's about 25,000 per day. So, but that is not known. So the data is there. So that is why we have this AFCHAT as a body that will be looking at data, working with partners to make sure that, I mean, I went to Maha one day and there was a container there, and I was talking to the owner, Mr. Bua. Frank, he says, this container is full of pillows and bed sheets. I said, why?
Why is it still sitting there?
Because he had to bring enough from China. I said, what? And all these boys are walking around. We can't sew these things here. Per cost, it's probably more expensive to do it in Ghana.
True.
But if government could say, okay, let's incentivize the hotels, that if you buy your hotels from Ghana, your bed sheets from Ghana, your soaps from Ghana, your distance from Ghana, your rates is
my brother Bedin, because GTP impo and Uncle Mucham to Madodo. So see a GTP a marketing agency for Vlisco. And to Manka so me honey a crazy.
Oh, really?
That's how bad it's gotten.
Why they can't do this?
So yeah, you need Juma no hono. You say my culture as a media. My culture and tourism say you media, brands, culture and tourism.
But why are you saying that they can't?
See, no, most of the work GTP is doing, apart from in Tumakakra, Omoya no Wahano, Doduana ye Papa woman, a Vlisco, Holland. And I mean him say Binsu Fico d'Ivoire, but when he say Vlisco Holland, and only into my papa woman, into the marketing agents.
It's your payment to money.
You come to money now. And America said actually yes, a policy be basse.
This is serious. So I think we need to look at it. But I believe the work that we have to do with people like yourself, myself, and there's so many people who are very passionate about the industry, is to really start influencing government policy, start influencing the direction of our tourism. Because like you know, Kumawood is such a big industry. But like
it needs funding.
It needs funding.
Kumawood's biggest problem today, and I've spoken to nearly everybody who matters in Kumawood, And I'm not talking of the actors who are just waiting for somebody to write a script before they act. I'm talking of the producers. And the writers themselves. What they need is funding. Because whatever ideas they have, what the Nigerians have managed to do is to find good funding and find a good support from their own fan base who will go online and watch them.
Yes. But Kuba Wood has a good fan base.
Nipa no be find baby obehwa untua de. Ghana for yakasi ma free incredible a benum ewu a beka kwagia no mawu. We just pay free.
Yeah. So we need to I mean if you go to China for example you can do
so I would say
YouTube,
to the John Mahama administration because they're the ones in power now. We don't address the past. We address the present and the future. Find 7 actual producers who have shown you 3 things they have made before. Not people who have never made one. And fund them with a grant. Some of them with a soft loan. And as they pay back, we use some of that money to fund the next set of people.
I agree with you.
Because the 100%. Stories that my brothers in Nigeria are making are the stories that you and I live every day.
Yeah, it's our story. And Kuma Wood...
sensible stories. Jacko is a good actor and filmmaker. There's no reason why if he's funded, he cannot make movies.
We can do that.
You know, and we have many of them here.
Yeah, if you go to, for example, South Africa, and I went to, I've been to, I think with Mercy Siedu, we went to the village where they are doing a film village, sort of. They have a village setting. And I was telling them that, look, the way you guys are doing it, it's going to be very expensive. Because the people come, they do one movie, they go. If you go to where they shoot Rhythm City and whatever, and all that, it's like you wake up every morning, you are going to work.
That's it.
So at the end of the month, you are paid. You know that I work.
That's it.
But if I'm doing a 2-hour film and somebody's charging you 100,000, 200,000, you will never be able to break even. So bring these people in, understand that this is a series that we're going to shoot. Every month, this is your pay.
That's it.
Then, so now I think it's more also capacity building. A lot of people are good, but they don't have the exposure.
To be fair, many of them don't have the education. Okaka and say, I have the talent. But my friend, if you have the talent, you must hone the talent. Talent alone is not enough, and you must have the discipline. I was telling a few visual artists recently, because I buy paintings, it's a painting. And I was telling them, look, the way you're working, you're not going to be rich. You have to work like Larry Otu. You have to work like Nick Kowalski, or you have to work like Amaka Amatefiu. You must get up every day and tell yourself, this is my 8-hour job, and go to work. Don't say today I'm not feeling like it.
Or tomorrow I don't have a gig, so I'm staying at home.
And that's what you must get up and go to work and paint. Whether you're in a good mood or not, paint. Those paintings will be bought someday.
Paint.
By NCC, actors and actresses in Ghana, to be very honest, I'm born about surprise na Mama Brown. She decided say me person me ye juma. Say film Maya me ko ye juma. Enti me be ko radio so ko TV so me ko ye juma. And also Maya me ko ye brand ambassador me ko ye juma. So 6 days a week Nanama is working.
You are sitting there waiting for the next producer to call you.
And then when the producer calls you, who bosika who wan kasa no so sorry ko ye juma nka untumi nya na 1 year. It won't happen. The Nigerian actors are not waiting for big money. They're getting up and going to work. And you're sitting here comparing yourselves with them.
Yeah. So I agree with you. And that's really something that we need to champion.
What is the influence of the Ghana Tourism Authority on the film industry in Ghana?
Oh, I mean, what we do is to try and, I mean, we did a project called the Film Support Project. In that sense, what we were trying to do is to fund some producers. So we got a cluster of them from Kumasi, Cape Coast, I think, and Takoradi. We gave them some support. And the whole idea was that we want to see Ghana in the movie that you're shooting.
Fantastic.
So integrate Ghana into it. So one of them, I think, was a lady, Matilda. She did Tetekwashi. And so that film was shot at the Cocoa Farm. They did a museum and other things. There are people who have come to us.
And when they do that, what incentives do you give them?
Some of them will give them sponsorship.
Sponsorship by way of?
Money. Some of them will give them hotel accommodation. We work with the hotels. Some of them will grant them access. For example, you know, if you go to the museums and monuments, Elmina Castle, you have to pay.
True.
So sometimes we work with them, say, look, this is something that is going to promote Ghana, and then we do a waiver, and then they can film there. Sometimes we rent equipment for them and all that. So we've supported a few things, but that is not enough. Like, for the problem that is there is not this tokenism.
Okay, let me go to the next one. What about the visual artists, the painters, the sculptors, the potters?
That we haven't done much, I must confess. But what we did was in the Ghana outreaches that we did. So, for example, in the Ghana Week, we had a Ghana Week in DC where we had about 5 Ghanaian painters come in. We did a Ghana Arts show exhibition with GEPA, Ghana Export Promotion Authority. They brought a lot of Ghana arts to showcase, and there are a lot of...
I asked this question because if you look at the French-speaking West African countries, there's the Biennale. Every 2 years, people fly from all over the world to come and buy African art at the Biennale. We're getting to a point where good African paintings and sculpture and pottery from Ghana and art, artifacts from Ghana will go to the Biennale and be sold as though they were not from Ghana.
It's happening
already.
already.
The reason is we haven't, in all these years of independence, with a whole trade fair visioneered and built by the first president of Ghana, we haven't been able to structure something like the Biennale so we could use that also to attract tourists, buyers, art students, fashion lovers from all over the world to come here. I remember Indutech 1987, I was also the MC for that. And how Ricky Osei Reggie...
What happened to Indutech?
Something in army, but Kwasi Kyei Darkwah book. Once a book, no matter Ghana for So, if you look at what Ricky Osei did, how he kind of stirred the emotions of Ghanaians by putting...
because of Chichingani,
Oh, they made another call for the art and the fashion and the culture. And on the models, real live models, mannequins. That was the hit at Indutech. And then there was Gifex 1987. If you look at all that, my question is, Ghana Tourism Authority, dear. Because even if you did not imagineer it, you must facilitate it.
And now,
but a buying for phobia and Sunday mom will be appointment, Now will be idea that now you kuno. Who can come and kill all the tour of Buckingham Palace in Nimoho? You can come and kill it. It's there forever. You can come and add on to it.
You build on it.
You understand? And see, I'm asking myself, say, what is it that happens, say, once you're made a political appointee, you cannot look at what has been done by your predecessors, even if they were in a previous government, and continue.
To the credit of the new leadership team at the Ghana Tourism Authority, Mame Fua and the team, I think they are building on what we've started. And I think it will go well. Looking at, last week, for example, they did a Taste 68 at 68, which was a showcase of Ghanaian food. Last year, we had done Feast Ghana, which was a similar concept. New name, sometimes you have to...
But the promotion for Taste 68 was too small.
Yeah.
So, TV network,
so it's feedback.
But that's a problem. That's a problem.
It's feedback.
That's a problem. Let's
building on it.
Let's broaden our outlook and then the outreach as well.
Yeah.
Let's not be like parochial and do things like ferry and now Yesro. Let's be audacious and do big things.
I think we're not dreaming too big. Dream must scare us. It doesn't scare us at this point because sometimes even within the tourism authority, sometimes you are doing something and then you have people coming, budgets and also. But I say, look, tourism is expensive. We are competing with Rwanda. They are on the sleeves of Arsenal, on PSG. And you can't just go there and go and buy a stand. Look, when we do WTM last year, the stand alone space is about £30,000.
WTM, they're in Ghana. The master is my youngest sister, Marian Darkwah. Every year, WTM.
Marian,
and so she's created this very strong. In fact, I think maybe she must go to another country and be a general manager of an international hotel. Because with all the expertise she has, and Meme Kachan says, she loves Ghana. She's now the head of marketing at Alisa.
Oh, okay.
You know, I think she's ready for a general manager opportunity. And if it doesn't happen in Ghana, she must go elsewhere because Ghana,
No, it will happen.
Sometimes it's frustrating for people who are professionals who don't do the political yes amasa. It can be very, very frustrating. So if you're really intelligent and competent at what you do, it is better for you to start looking at the United Nations and other organizations and just get out of here.
No, but we need to build our country.
But if you're
because look, you are
I'm in my private enterprise.
No, but the private enterprise
I influence a lot of you.
Yes,
but minimum political yes,
first, no. I mean, at a show, it was like people. You know, when they say we're going to a function, they say what do you call it? Official dress,
black tie.
Black tie. I said, why should I wear black tie? I don't wear that.
But you will be yes, you are.
And now you're doing it, and a lot of people that everywhere I go, I see people are trying to dress up like you. I see people, I mean, walking sticky, which is your signature.
For those who don't know, I had an accident. I tore my medial meniscus, and after the surgery, it didn't get perfect. It's your steroid. But I see my way no steroids into me won't be. It's me trying to be a midi 70 and 68 and now me rub me 60s no more. I may just go and change the knee.
Wow.
So it's the easiest way to do it.
Because at that age, doing the surgery is, but so stick up. I see people walking away. Issue.
Oh, we knew that. We knew that. You know. So, okay. So we talked about the film industry, and then I've asked you also about the visual artists because
and the music.
No, I don't want to come to the music because the music lady, I wouldn't be. What you want my dream from Musu?
Oh, Debbie.
What was I see? I know on Spotify na you.
Oh, but you see,
musicians. Look, when you whopa fresh star accordion, nefre Stonebwoy, nefre Shatta, nefre Amerado, nefre Kwesiata, nefre Paluta.
You see,
they will tell you.
Look at the platform we're giving them with December GH. Last year,
that's a platform in Chia.
No, but if we didn't have December GH, Afro Challenge, Afro Nation is coming. These guys are being paid.
Charles, Chami, you okay? Noko.
It's all right. Okay,
live. Shut up, catch yourself. Meaning, if the platform we go chop.
No, I'm not the platform of the music. I'm talking about the platform where now a lot of events are coming into the country, and they are using them.
When the events come into the country, we pay those who don't come from Ghana so much, and we pay those who come from Ghana so little. And you know, it's even in a cultural policy. If you pay a foreign act a certain amount for an appearance, the lowest you can pay the local act is stated.
Oh, really?
But no,
I shouldn't be me. I am for local. I mean, I'm Ghana pure and pure. So sometimes when we are doing these things, and I don't even understand why we bring.
Yeah, Kumaya and so a party. So we see amounts be our church and crown for.
When they say Ghana is social media, come on.
I am strong.
Oh, Minjini. Oh,
yeah, sure.
Minjini, come on. And come on, social media, even to work over there. That you pay like what, $600,000 per act? No. Come on. What's the social media? They need to work can now because that's how they are also.
Social media for me, Joe.
Oh, but sometimes you read a thing and you realize that they deal with
Maybe it's kind of sir.
Oh, scan they all.
Sound. It's almost Virginia tax.
You see, that's where sometimes I have these challenges. We need to interrogate a bit more what is going on. But I don't think. Oh yeah, then I say, you know, it's like Yama. People cannot be celebrated. You know, I don't know. KKD, everybody knows you've done. When you said Darkwah, I remember those days. So they were long ago. People don't know that story. So when one day you decide that, look, my mommy bra, I want to celebrate. Fine. If the person is not paying taxes, I'm not saying don't pay taxes, but it shouldn't be like.
Well, yeah, party,
you know, it makes it feel like people. If this guy is creating jobs, and I was
no. But how do you Bugatti do chroma? That's how they actually visa or tax. I have boniana.
There's a lifestyle on it that you have to look at.
And that's a lifestyle on its party count.
But
what's that? Dankasi also count.
And the correct, but I didn't see her. No,
Who's our 27 buildings? Who's now jail and so I can.
Oh, we need to look at these things and where.
And AKWASI, how many weeks and Sanya check?
No, I'm saying, someone check.
They're going check. It's all check.
Oh, check.
Oh, one more freezy.
What was it?
One more freezy, baby, Anna.
Almost more freezing accounts for now.
Oh, what then?
Because they want to check some things so that if there's some money, they remove the one. But I'm saying some of these things should even be done on the pipes. Some of this because and yes, look, I know people who feel that Ghana,
who is Sky in you?
If we start saying that, who is going to go to the hotels? I was in Takoradi last week. Beautiful hotels coming up everywhere. But if the people in Ghana feel that if they go and spend their money in Takoradi, somebody is going to take a picture of them and the following day the tax money is going to come after them, then we have a problem.
That's just be our public waste department say look read name chidam kesi be we to chapter na ka say ebro
chichiga with when problem. So you need to I mean there's a bit of scarecrowing thing that is going on. People need to be open about being prosperous and all that. We know that people talk about despite is rich. It's good people aspire to be like a despot. What does despot do? He has businesses. The businesses are there. This way, need fufu, Peace FM, whatever it is.
But I say, in Ghana, if you look abroad as well, there's something they call POC, proceeds of crime. If you cannot tell how the money was made, then it is considered proceeds of crime, which is really not fair. Because really, money doesn't just fall on the ground.
You work.
You work and you make it. But if you did not ask the person about the source of his poverty, why are you asking him about the source of his of his wealth?
Source of poverty, you come up.
And Tinacha say, "Who is council now? Dinner service of it, senior or China will be."
That is why that is why I have a problem. So assuming that this guy didn't do the party, are we saying that we didn't know he had these businesses? Are we saying that we didn't know that somebody had bought in Burger King, somebody owns Chicken Man, Pizza Man, had bought into Links? And so what kind of work are the tax people doing? So they should know. And it shouldn't be hidden that KKD has these brands. KKD is opening a fashion house. Let's celebrate him. Let's give him support. Because if you do it, if we take this thing to like Oswald Boateng comes in here and says, look, I want to open a shop. Why shouldn't government give him money, land, whatever it is? Because he
will bring a certain clientele to the country.
He will create, but hey, I don't know this kind of commerce was wanting. I don't need this kind of. So that sort of mindset where we don't want to push people up is where what leads to some of these.
But you've moved the conversation somewhere where I think I like to chip in. If you say government must be able to give people money, like say Oswald Boateng, then we must have some verifiable criteria.
Exactly.
And that criteria must cut across board.
It's true.
So that if you can give it to Oswald Boateng, then you can give it to Joe Kesley Hayford's son, who's also a stylist and now a designer. And then you can give it to maybe a trainee of Joyce Abebio, who has also built her brand, and you believe that they can also bring customers. And you must be able to give it to a mama by Nayaka Freak, who has been in the fashion and fabric business for over 39 years in Ghana and still reigning. But if you can give it to, say, Oswald, and we find that they are a member of your family or your clan, and then you don't give anybody else, then that's a problem.
That one I agree, it's a problem.
And I think that's the problem we have.
So there's fairness that we need to be fair. There has to be equity. For example, when we were doing the December in GH, we invited, we put it out there, bring your proposals. So we do endorsements. That one, we have a panel, they look at it. If you qualify, you get your letter. Then the second phase is, we look at the numbers. Okay, Afrochella is bringing in this number. Show us data. They will show you. These are the people who bought my ticket in UK, US. I mean, at some point in time, I think Afrochella, there were about 7,000 people buying tickets from all over the world coming into Ghana. So he needs support. He is doing it at Elwak at that time. He's paid 300,000 cedis for the stadium.
Because he's going to destroy the grounds.
No, that was not even the reason for that. Because he's setting up for 10 days and every day is 30,000. So before he has
That's
set
too
up-
much. You've got to reduce the cost
you.
for the setup
So
days.
now we have to go in, talk to.
No, but whoever was renting the place should know better.
The military people,
You've got to no. You've got to reduce the cost for the setup days. So you tell them we can give you 3 days free. Any other day at
So
this
when I talk
discount.
coordination, you say I shouldn't talk about. That is where the coordination comes in, because
Where in your coordination, where instruction?
from me,
Hey, your
that's
instruction.
because that place belongs to the military, and you go to them and they feel that hey, no this guy go back yard. So you have to. I tell you, it's a problem.
Say it again.
Hey, oh this guy go back yard.
Onis Obeya Pesca.
Thank you. Obeya Pesca. Emma Yenso. As an industry, as a country, benefit from them. What the people are coming, 7,000 people. Airport tax is about $200. So even at the minimum, that is 7,000 times 200.
But now I'm thinking, I think the soldier who says they should pay that money is right. He wasn't expecting the money from them. He was expecting a subsidy from government.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we have
because sometimes government is wasteful.
Yeah. So we go.
Be it the presidency or whatever.
I agree.
So they must subsidize the stadium because the point remains that the grounds will be destroyed.
The grounds will be destroyed, and a lot of these things are things that needs a conversation and needs some advocacy, and that's what I'm trying to do now. That look, let's try and open up, because we talk about mice. There are countries that are bidding. We had a guy, Kwasi Kyei Darkwah. He did
break down the mice so that those who haven't studied
meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions or events.
Exactly.
So Kwasi Kyei Darkwah came to Ghana. He's Ghanaian but lives in South Africa. Africa Tourism Partners. They did Africa Youth in Tourism Summit, first one in Ghana. So we assisted them with we got them the venue. Alisa supported them. They brought in a lot of people from all over Africa. The following day he sat us down and said, look, next year we're going to put this thing out. People have to bid for it. I said, oh, but we supported you. He said, no. It's my business.
Exactly.
But I'm Ghanaian, so I gave it to you for free.
Yeah.
But it can't be like that, because we have to pay our people. Namibia paid $300,000.
That's it. He's gone.
He's gone. This year they are doing They're doing it in Kenya. But we need to get to that mindset that look.
No, we are already at that mindset. You see, this we need to get to. We must stop using the lowest common denominator for our discussions.
Yeah. But when I say we need to get to that mindset, it must permeate.
No, it will never permeate at all. Look, in every society, it's just about 10 to 20% of the people who do all the work.
Okay.
And in every organization, it's the same.
The 2018.
It's 2080 principle. I don't waste my time explaining myself to certain people.
Yeah.
They will find out 10 years when we are finished and gone.
And
then they'll realize, and this is the reason why I still got my salary.
Yeah.
So when he was, you heard the story of the guy who was always driving the monkeys away from his farm. You know, they came to eat his maize and eat his bananas and eat his plants and all that, and he was always driving the monkey away, right?
Yeah.
And the monkeys were angry with this man for driving them away, and then the man died. Then all of a sudden, no crops were growing. That is when the monkeys realized, oh, we had food because of the man who was driving us away. And see, if you are in leadership, you are not going to try to please the dummies amongst your group, nor the lazy ones amongst your group, nor the thieves amongst your group.
To carry people along.
Carry the wise ones who want to work along. The wise ones who want to work. Look, Accra City Hotel. Somebody was sacked for stealing duck. Duck. You work in a hotel. Christmas is coming. You're stealing duck from the kitchen. What are you doing?
Yesterday I was sitting with a hotelier who was telling me about their brunch. He says when they do their brunch, the place, every staff comes to work. Normal days, people will say, oh, I'm sick, I'm not well. They will go. Brunch, they all come. Turns out that is where they do a lot of the stealing. So they have their family, friends, everybody coming to eat, people that they have charged. You know, there are people who go to hotels.
They charge them privately?
They charge them before they come in. And when they get there, so like in a hotel. And I know people who go and eat every morning in the hotel free. Because they go their room number, then on it, you wait and actually share one.
No, okita card, no.
But they card. So okay, check the person takes. Maybe I was sending a moment that I cry. Every
You are
I'm
joking.
telling you.
And you want the CEO to explain himself to somebody like that? He should fire him.
Yes. So a lot of people have been fired in that hotel. But I'm just saying that it's not. Sometimes it's not because they are dumb. It's just people have this mentality. Ghana, I won't say Edumani, you have been paid. Do your job and get paid. If the business grows, you will see it. At the end of the month, you want to be paid. How they expect, it's like philanthropy. We expect hoteliers to come and pay us on the Osikao. Or Sika just say, or the fufu. He opened the Pisika.
I'm getting to the time where we wrap up. So I want to just tell people about the career you've been through before you got to this place where you became the dawn of Ghana's tourism.
I'm not a dawn of Ghana tourism.
You became, as the CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, you are the one who actually delivers our tourism outcomes.
So
take it.
All right.
The career you went through before you got there.
Yeah, started off. My first job, actually real job, was at GBC as a salesman on the breakfast show. That's when the breakfast show was starting. Ghana, we used to have 3 p.m. TV.
You started marketing at GBC at the time.
GBC at that time. So we started the breakfast show with Gifty Auntie, Lankra, Kushika.
It's all by late, cry.
Oh, this
that's I know if you're crying.
That's okay. And master of the game. Master of the game. So then from there, I got an opportunity to work with Stanbic, a bank in South Africa. So I stayed in South Africa for about 6 months. Then when I came back, Stanbic, they at that time owned part of Merchant Bank. So I then started working in Merchant Bank. Worked in Merchant Bank for about 4 years. And then went to EcoBank.
In Merchant Bank, what were you doing? Were you doing retail banking?
I was doing retail relationship banking.
Okay.
So, and then went to EcoBank for about a year. Then I left to the US for my MBA. Then I had opportunity to come back to EcoBank because I more or less I was.
Which university were you at?
Ghana. I was at the University of Ghana, but then I went to
University of Ghana. What did you study?
I did social science, political science, and peace science peace science major.
And then at Tulane,
I did a master's in public administration here in Ghana.
Fantastic.
And then went to Tulane for my MBA in marketing and information. So when I finished, then I got a call from Edward Wharton, who was setting up this Global Media Alliance in South Africa, back in Ghana.
Edward had also worked in sales for CNN.
Yeah, and it was Edward who had sent me to GBC with Capcom, because it was a partnership, the breakfast show.
Yeah.
So he said, look, I said, no, I think I've had enough of the bank, because I figured out it was a bit monotonous, doing the same thing over and over and over again. But with media and marketing, it was like every day was a new day.
Yeah.
So we came back, started Global Media Alliance with Edward. It had started before I joined, but we became a shareholder and we built it from scratch as an agency, working with CNN, Turner, PR events, into now broadcasting.
And then you created some events when you were there.
Oh yeah, we did Loud in GH. We did some fantastic Y Campus Express, the area codes. I mean, the area codes is one of the things that has lived on. It's one of the platforms that, the first time I saw Stoneboy was at area codes. He had come to perform with Samini and all that. And now when I see all of them, I feel very proud that at least we gave them platforms for them to. So we did all that, and broadcasting. I became more the president of the Ghana Independent Broadcasting Association. This is when we were moving from the digital transition. So there was a lot of engagements with government. At that time, Honorable Omane Boama was the Minister of Communications, so we did a lot of work with him and all that. So that's a bit of my background.
And the reason I ask is I want the young ones who are looking at this to understand that no learning is ever wasted.
No, but for me...
And no network is ever wasted.
For me, just to go back, my dad died when I was 7 years. So I started school, international school in Ishiaisu International. My dad was a treasurer at KCC then, now KMA, staying in Ishiaisu.
That was good money.
Yeah. Then he died, and within 3 months, I had to go to Fanchibra for 1 year. Because
Fanchiba is
it's in there. There's a school there.
No, heavy to say about an hour.
Because that my mom could not afford it.
3 months?
Yeah. Because
where did all the wealth go?
Which wealth? Yeah, because those times we didn't have this interstate. That's when the interstate succession law came. Yeah. So everything that my dad had, his cars, everything was taken. And my mom was left, so we went to, my mom was a teacher at Opokuwari. And that Fanchiba was the closest school. And then later I went to university private. But then, my mom alone, there were 5 of us, plus 4 step brothers and sisters, 9 of us. So we were shipped around. I then had to move. I stayed in Nzima for some months with families, South Central, Dunka, Onofin, and all over the country. So that also helped me.
Tourism training.
So now I could relate to a lot of people because my diversity from my background in terms of growing up, living, moving from one family to another. You go here, the following day your auntie says, hey, go back to. So I was shipped around. But then I learned a lot because I also was able to relate to different people. So somebody born in Tamale grew up in Kumasi, Dumpao.
There is a video I'd like you to see, and then I'll take your comment on it.
All right.
Because maybe out of that comment, we might get something that we all can learn from.
All right.
Here it is.
The only bird that dares to peck an eagle is the crow. The crow sits on the eagle's back and bites its neck. The eagle does not attempt to shake it off or fight it. It doesn't spend its time or energy on the small nuisance. Instead, it just opens its wings and begins to rise higher into the sky. The higher the flight, the harder it is for the crow to breathe and hold on, until it eventually falls off due to a lack of oxygen. Learn from the eagle, and don't spend your time fighting crows. Just keep ascending. They may be along for the ride in the beginning, but they'll soon fall off. Do not allow yourself to succumb to these petty distractions. Keep your focus on the things above, and keep right.
In your personal life?
Personal life, I think focus. Have a tunnel vision on what you want to achieve. Having served my country, I mean, I feel proud. I've done private sector all my life, and this past 8 years working in public service, meeting so many people, I get the accolades. Through this work, I've been given an award, Marketing Man of the Year, Public Service, CEO of the Year, and all that. Means nothing if I cannot leverage that for the benefit of my country. And so I'm looking forward to using the experiences that I've built to work for us to improve the sector, because I feel strongly about tourism. I feel it's a low-hanging fruit that can turn the fortunes of the country, and the tourism authority cannot do it alone. It needs private sector partners like yourselves, people who are passionate about it. And so as much as I'm proud of the work that we did, I know that it's still work in progress, and that from where I'm sitting as the CEO of a center that is trying to be a knowledge partner to tourism.
And don't forget, the author of the book, when we returned, the author of the book,
and the next one
when we returned,
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
From chains to crowns.
Yes, so we went in chains and we came back in crowns.
And to end this episode, the tropical sun was beating down on us as we huddled under the welcome shade of the shea nut tree in the Pikworo camp in Nania. The camp stretched as far as the eye could see, a vast expanse. At other times of the day, there was space enough for many, but not this afternoon. The leafy branches of the trees were our only salvation. No one needed more than a cursory look at this group to conclude that we were a bunch of worn-out, haggard-looking people. Our throats were parched. But wherever you are, your throats will not stay parched, because if you come to Ghana, the people of Ghana will open their arms and say, Akwaba. And the likes of Kwasi Agyeman, who has served his nation with pride, with dignity, and with integrity, will welcome you, and we'll all sing a beautiful song. My name is Darkwah, Kwasi Kyei Darkwah. Thank you for watching.
Can you repeat that? My name is Darkwah.
The name is Darkwah. Kwasi Kyei Darkwah. See you on the next episode.
For those of you who missed the Darkwah.
Excellent furnishing in a real estate business is a great deal for survival. My struggles as a young estate developer were cut short when I discovered Fernart Ghana. With quality furniture made from the finest woods and amazing after-sale service, Fernart Ghana changed my story with every single home I built. It's a one-stop shop that serves the interests of clients with a variety of living room and dining sets, solid wood kitchen installations, wardrobes, doors, cabinets, beds, pergolas, floor parquets, and many other wooden products that will last a lifetime. With Fernart Ghana, all clients are offered the opportunity to customize furniture to their specifications, and the smile on their faces says it all.